Hello everybody, it is Friday, and as I am sure you are all aware by now, we are doing our favorite dead singers. Yeah. Anyway, I will be telling you all about John Lennon and the Beatles. Before we get to his death, I'd like to tell you a little bit about how the Beatles began and everything, give you a little bit of background on them. The Beatles weren't originally called the Beatles, they were called the Quarrymen. How the band started, John Lennon was performing in his band, with his band at a carnival, and Paul McCartney saw them, and he was very impressed by them. He wanted to join the band, so he played a few songs, and they were impressed by him as well. It was interesting that they actually got together and let Paul into his band, because John was middle class while Paul was working class, and way back when in England, if you were from a different class, you definitely didn't really interact much with the other classes. So later, George Harrison joined, and they started calling themselves the Silver Beatles. Later that shortened to just the Beatles. They really aren't sure how it began getting called the Beatles. They think it might have been from Buddy Holly and the Crickets, and they just took the actual word Beatle, and put a B-E-A-T because of the beat, which is what rock was sometimes called back then. Initially, they did not have Ringo as their drummer. Their drummer's name was Pete Best. Later, Brian Epstein, who was kind of like the manager of the Beatles, told them that they needed a new drummer, and then Ringo came in. Okay, so you all probably know a lot about Beatlemania. Everybody was huge Beatles. One time, when the Beatles were in America, John Lennon made a comment about how the Beatles were bigger than God. He didn't mean it that way, he just meant that they were very popular, but he said that, and everybody started making bonfires, burning the Beatles records. It was huge. People hated them for that. How John met Yoko was that she did an art display, and he went in there and he climbed up a ladder and looked through this little spyglass, and at the very end it said yes. Now the big thing about this was that in a time where everybody was telling them, no, you can't do this, you can't do that, so on and so forth, somebody had said yes. Eventually, the Beatles broke up, sadly. They rarely ever left like a hotel or whatever and went out into public, because everybody just mobbed them. So they were always stuck together, and after a while they got tired of each other and they broke up. John's death. Most of you probably know how John died, but you more than likely don't know why. John Lennon was walking down the street, and the guy that shot him, he was insane, and he thought that he was John Lennon. The insane man thought he was John Lennon. And he thought that John Lennon was impersonating him. So he went and he found John Lennon, and he shot him. And they didn't make it in time to save him, sadly. And that's pretty much all you need to know about John Lennon and his death. Till next Friday. See ya.